Now, this is where we could get some hot takes. Mid-money followers, so please weigh in. When you eat a pizza, how long is it good in the fridge? Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Mid-Money, where we talk about all things personal finance in the state of Michigan. And for today, a special episode about pizza. So, Kevin.
Yeah.
How are things going?
Excellent. How about yourself?
Great.
Yeah.
It's another interesting week, and then we're also both celebrating birthdays this week as well.
Yep. So two big events, right?
Absolutely.
Will turned 30, and I turned 50. Yeah, which
Not a
is
day over
shocking.
40.
The time has gone by way too fast. But hey, just a number.
Life is just on fast forward
Yeah.
right now. Life is just on fast forward.
I'm super excited to get started, to dig into
I
these.
can tell.
I'm just interrupting you. I'm just going to jump
We have
into
four
this thing.
pizza boxes in front of us, all from the state of Michigan. What most people don't know is that Michigan is home to a lot of pizza companies. Now, a lot more than just the outside four boxes, what we see. We did not pick these. Our marketing department, they had the hard jobs of going out and picking what pizza places should we think about having some pizza. Now, we didn't want anything specifically or local or anything like that. We wanted just purely national chains. Now, if there's some interest for us doing more local pizzas, please let us know. Comments, emails, text messages, we don't care. We just want to go hear some good, honest feedback. And so that being said, your birthday's closer.
Let's point out, too, national
okay.
chains, but
Yeah.
all headquartered in Michigan.
Absolutely.
Right? So
Yeah.
that's important. I guess I really didn't give it too much thought before today, how big an influence pizza has
Absolutely.
in Michigan.
I mean, most people wouldn't expect Michigan. I mean, you think, obviously New York has great pizza, but
Sure.
people think Michigan. You're like, Michigan?
Yeah.
Could have easily been Minnesota, Kansas, Indiana.
Yeah. Right. So let's get started.
All right.
First
Let's kick it off with Jets.
We have Jets Pizza.
Deep dish. Okay. You a deep dish guy yourself?
I like it. The thing I like most about Jets is the corners.
Corners,
Right?
okay.
So this right off the bat, the fact that this is 4 slices and that every slice is a corner, this is like a huge advantage for Jets at this point. Because I like the crust really on any. I don't know. I really like the Jets
little
pizza.
biased?
Yeah, a little
Okay.
biased maybe. Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
So go ahead and.
I'll go ahead and get a piece off over here myself. And Jets holds a place in my heart as well. And so Jets at the time, I don't know if this is still the case, but where I used to live in Midland was the only pizza place that would deliver out to us. And so, of course, Jets was the only option, but still a lot of good options. But, being a little bit closer into the city now, there's a lot more to pick.
There is, absolutely. Well, let's give it a taste.
Cheers, absolutely. Let's go. Cheers.
Let's tap.
Yeah,
here we go.
Cheers. I'll raise it. No, I'll raise it to the air.
All
More
right.
sanitary.
I don't want to be chewing like directly into the microphone, so I'm gonna back it up just a little bit. Now we should point out, Jets was the first pizza that was purchased this morning. So
Yes, and no one has. TriStar Trust has paid for the pizzas. Not a sponsorship in any way. Want to go get that abundantly clear and out of the way. What are your thoughts on the pizza?
it's excellent. Yeah, it's really good. It's thick. Again, like I said, favorite part about Jets is the crust. So you got to eat
sure,
it,
sure.
almost backwards.
Backwards. What? Never heard that day in my
You
life
get that
before.
crunch. Really crunchy. Very good.
We'll be honest. I've never been filmed while eating before, with the exception of my wedding. So it
Yeah.
goes a little bit differently. Do you think they have the best pepperoni out there?
I don't know that the pepperoni stands out to me more than anything. And, they've copyrighted this, the 4 corners, right?
Really?
Or the cornered pizza, yeah.
I had no idea.
So, yeah, formed in Sterling Heights, 1978. Have over 350 locations. And they're known specifically for this Detroit style trademarked 8-corner pizza, offering a unique take on traditional pizza formats. So, really enjoy it. I would have to say, before we started today, I've actually worked at one of these locations in the
4.
past.
Okay.
I'm not going to divulge right away which one it was. It was not Jets Pizza, But yeah, when I was in college, I delivered pizzas for one of these four
Delivered?
companies. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
It was a great gig when you're, a college kid. It's mostly a nighttime job. And unlike waiting tables where you make like, $2 an hour or something, you got a, full minimum wage pay, and then you got all your tips. So, you'd get tipped out somewhere between $60 and $100 per shift, and you got your wage, and it was a lot of fun. There wasn't like, someone looking over your shoulder all the time.
You said $100. And so what's that inflated going back from 1970 prices?
Yeah, that's, in the form of tips. Yeah, I mean, that's a lot. No, I wasn't driving in 1970. So let's hold on a second. I'm 50, right? So do the math. This would have been
a kind joke,
mid-90s. Yeah, right. Born in the 1970s. Yes. So what do you think?
I've got gray hair coming on the side, so I feel like the age jokes will just start to come my way eventually.
Sure.
But what do I think about Jets?
Yeah.
No, I like Jets. As what I mentioned, it was pretty much the only pizza place where I lived out in Midland, or where I used to live in Midland. Now go deliver out to us, and so it'd be straight up pepperoni pizza, cheese pizza, so on and so forth. And they got some good breadsticks too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So let's back up before we jump into another pizza. Why do you think pizza is so popular in the state of Michigan? Like, why does the state of Michigan have 4 different pretty huge pizza companies headquartered here in Michigan?
Well, I go think when all these companies are really founded and really growing in prominence too. It was the 1970s and 1980s, but you see a lot of these companies really start to really fully embrace the technology behind the delivery too.
Sure. Yeah.
And when you go think about it, I'm not trying to say anything bad about Michigan, but Michigan is inherently a pretty cold state.
Yeah.
And so when you go think about bringing back a hot piece of very easy, moderately inexpensive piece of food back to the house, hey, you're looking pretty good. You're looking like a hero. Get some brownie points from the family.
Yeah. And some of these go back to the 50s, some of these pizzas that we have in front of us. And something that to me really stands out is affordability, right? So when I think about my family and I think about, hey, especially when you're in a pinch and there's like, everybody's been running around, you're at a swim meet, one's at soccer practice, you get home at 6:30, everybody's tired. What's the easiest thing to do? And pizza often stands out, right? And actually, each one of these we have one of these restaurants within probably a mile of our house, each one of them. Yeah.
Really?
I mean, we live right in town, so
sure.
That would be quite common. But, right along Saginaw, I think you'd find each one of these stores. One of the reasons I think I've kind of theorized that I think pizza is so popular in Michigan is because of like mass production, right? You think about automotive,
Well, that's a good take.
Where our roots are, right? Mass production, affordability, right? We already talked about filling, right? So everybody's going to get full, whether it takes a pie and maybe some breadsticks, something like that. It's also quite casual, right? So when you think about like lunchtime and maybe for those guys that are working on a factory floor and they want, to your point, like a warm lunch, it's nearby and it's affordable and it's going to fill them up. Pizza certainly
Hey, don't forget about
will do the
leftovers
job.
too.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, pizza's good for 2-3 days. Now, this is where we could get some hot takes. Mid-money followers, so please weigh in. When you eat a pizza, how long is it good in the fridge?
Ooh, yeah.
Like in I'll go first. I'll take the plunge.
Yeah.
2 days. Anything past 2 days, I'm starting to feel a little queasy about. I will be honest.
Yeah, I'm probably there with you. Now, I will say, how do you prepare a leftover pizza? What do you do?
I'm straight up microwave.
Okay.
I don't care. I know air fryer is supposedly better. I know heating up in the oven is supposedly better as well, but just straight microwave.
Right. Well, I'll tell you what. My son Sam taught me a trick for heating up pizza that works exceptionally well. Okay. You put a pan on the oven, or I'm sorry, on the stovetop at about mid-heat, so at like a 5-6. Put a little olive oil in there. Put the pizza slice right on the pan until it starts to sizzle a little bit. Pull it off, and it's crunchy, delicious, as if it were brand new.
Really?
Yep, delicious. And I've tried the air fryer. Of course, we've all tried the microwave. Microwave pizza is just not even.
You accept that the quality is going to go down.
Yeah, you're just trying to get like sustenance into your belly.
Trying to get something out of it.
Yeah, exactly. Yep. So Jets Pizza, love it. Yeah, really good. Moving along.
Moving along to Hungry Howie's.
And let's point out, too, like something that you said before we started, right? We look at each logo, right? Jets, we've got a guy smiling. Hungry Howie's, we've got a young child smiling. Little Caesars, you got
someone smiling, too. They're happy.
Caesar
They're rejoicing.
Here. Domino's a little bit different. Something I learned about Little Caesars. Do you notice anything missing from the Little Caesars logo today from what it was in the past? And I'll show it to the camera for our guests.
Yeah. The guy's not holding the pizza thing, the pizza steak, right?
That would be one part. Yeah.
Okay. What's
There's
the second?
another part. He doesn't have any chest hair. So it used to be that before they opened Little Caesars Arena, Caesar had chest hair. And now no longer. Once they opened the arena, they thought, you know what? We need to modern. We need to get a little more
Getting
contemporary.
with the times, I guess.
Caesar.
I don't know.
No more chest hair. So yeah, Caesar's gone through a little bit of an update.
I guess so. So let's continue. Go ahead. Let's open up that Hungry Howie's pie.
All right, let's
I'd
go.
breakfast at 5 o'clock, man. I'm starving.
All right.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah,
This is looking
different
good
take
too.
Oh,
And there takes the crust, right?
it is. So that's the interesting thing with Hungry Howie's. Is that's really their claim to fame is the herb crust, right? So let's get that out of the way.
Doing
here.
the hard work for me.
Yeah. So the flavored crust, they have butter cheese, Asiago cheese, garlic herb, sesame, Cajun, onion, and ranch. Do we have any idea what we're about to attempt to eat, what we're going to eat here?
I have no idea.
Okay, well,
I've
let's
got no
give it a
idea.
shot. Okay. And I'm going crust first. I don't know
Crust
about
first?
you.
What?
Yeah. I'm just, well, I mean, that's what they're known for, so I'm going crust first. That's good. I really like that crust a lot.
The pizza's good. I don't know how some of these professional pizza reviewers do it. I really don't. I'm thinking back to, Dave Portnoy.
Oh, yeah.
Barstool Sports, infamous character. That guy must have such a good pizza palate.
He must also have a really good exercise routine.
Oh.
Right? Because, like, pizza
I think at one
for
point-
me is, like, the worst thing to eat from a fitness perspective.
Hey,
right?
loaded with protein. You think
Right,
about the pepperoni, you think about all
Get
the
all that
cheese, but of
cheese,
course,
yeah.
there's some other things you can go put on there too.
Yeah, it's good for you.
Let's take a bite of the crust.
Yeah, I do. Now we're going reverse.
Oh, wow.
I went crust first. You went pizza first.
That's really good. Very flavorful.
Okay, that's good. The tomato sauce is a lot tangier.
It's good. Yeah. I also apologize to any of the audio listeners who may be picking up on my chewing. So hopefully it's not too loud, or maybe it's calming in some sort of sense. I don't know.
Yeah, I know that my kids watch the show, right? So
Sure.
for Nico out there, I hope I'm not
get a
breathing
Rick
too
shout
loud
out.
for you. I know you get a little bit annoyed with my breathing as I eat, but I mean, you gotta breathe, right?
Hey,
so
you got to stay alive, right?
yeah.
Hungry Howie's doing pretty well for me. Now, they're also founded in the 70s as well.
Yeah.
And they've been a Midland fixture, gosh, that store in the center of the city for as long as I can remember.
Yeah.
Now, when you were out in Colorado, were they
Yep.
still pretty prevalent out there as well?
I don't remember Hungry Howie's. However, that leads back. Notice I still haven't mentioned a company that I worked for. So I'm a little bit partial to one of these because I used to work there and I really enjoyed working there. I had a lot of fun. It was a great gig. And
Do you still have the company T-shirt?
I don't have anything related
no
to
memorabilia.
it any
Okay.
longer. Yeah. One thing I would point out, we talked a little bit about the logos. One thing I did learn when we look at, if you want to grab the Domino's pizza box. So the 3 circles here represent the original 3 restaurants that were opened by Domino's Pizza. So that's one thing that I did learn about Domino's. Not trying to get ahead of Hungry Howie's because we haven't really talked enough about that yet. Like you said, established in 1973, Taylor, Michigan. He started as a delivery driver and later became a partner and is now the CEO.
Oh, sure.
They have over 550 locations across the United States. Like we said, it's the home of the flavored crust pizza. We talked about the different varieties that they provide. And a couple of things I learned about them as well, or one in particular, is that they raise money for National Breast Cancer Foundation through Love, Hope, and Pizza campaign, where they turn their pizza boxes pink during the month of October. So just last month.
That's very surprising.
Yeah.
I also know, too, that the company really grew a lot and really took on the franchising model, too, to really help grow, open up new stores, grow in their market share, too, because that's a really good, effective way to, as a company, okay, if we can select those really good franchise partners who can really be the stewards in each of the communities that they're in,
Yep.
while they still have to go do their market research, it's not necessarily they're having to go open up with their own capital each and every new possible store that's out there, too.
Yeah. Yep. So how do you think, like we have all these pizzas in front of us, and granted, these are all national chains, right? But I think pizza has a big influence on Michigan culture, right?
It does.
And I think we
Absolutely.
each defend our local pies, right?
All the time.
So what is a local pie or two for you that you would defend not only here in Michigan, but nationally, maybe even internationally?
Oh, goodness gracious. If you're thinking local pie as just in pizza, it's going to be Pizza Sam's.
Okay.
Now, in Midland, Michigan, downtown Midland, Michigan, extremely good. Now, if you think about breadsticks or garlic knots, I have to go take my talents over to Bay City.
Okay.
Brooklyn Boys Pizza. Now, their pizza's really, really good. It is still extremely good. Like the white pizza there, I think that's what it's called.
Sure.
Extremely good. Now, the garlic knots there have never had anything come close to it.
Yeah.
What yourself?
Love Pizza Sam's. It's absolutely delicious. Right up the street from us. We're there probably more frequently than anywhere else.
Sure.
So shout out to Pizza Sam's. And in addition to that, I think I've mentioned it already on this show and previous shows. My middle son's name is Sam, so we always kind of joke with him that's kind of his place. He's got a Pizza Sam's hat and a Pizza Sam's sweatshirt. Thank you to Gus, the owner of Pizza Sam's. So to throw out a shot to another local pizza shop, I'm going to say Pizza Baker.
Oh,
So again, right up the street from us. In fact, on the same block as TriStar
couple
here,
doors
downtown Midland, right on Main
wood-fired
Street.
pizzas.
Wood-fired, delicious, crispy. I love their cacio e pepe pizza. I don't know if you've tried that one. It's very unique, very different. And more than anything, I like enjoying a Pizza Baker pizza on a Friday or Saturday night in downtown Midland while I'm watching the Commons live music series. You can, you're sitting there listening to some great music, enjoying time with your friends. Hey, I'm hungry. Make a quick call or go to your app, order a pizza, walk up the street, grab it, come back, sit down, and you're having a wonderful time.
I will say it is very convenient having that right next door to Three Bridges.
Oh, yeah.
Very convenient. And being able to order inside Three Bridges and getting food delivered directly to your table.
Yeah, absolutely.
That a Moscow Mule is very good. Very
Yeah.
good. Now, before we sway too far off, okay, pizza, national chains. Can we open that third box, Kevin?
Let's go. Let's do it. It's on your side.
My eye is on the pizza.
Yep. So this Little Caesars, probably more than any of these, is kind of what I grew up with because there was a Little Caesars around the corner from us. So interesting, this is very similar to our Jets with the four corners.
Oh, sure.
Normally, we get like the hot and ready.
Oh, of course.
Because again, kind of on short notice, great idea. I'm kind of running out of space here on my plate, so I'm gonna
have to go ditch one.
But
plate.
our producer set us up with multiple plates, so I'm safe.
Our executive producer.
Yep. All right, so let's dig in here.
Okay.
I'm not gonna go crust first this time.
That's good. Not a madman. I will be honest, I've never had anything but a hot and ready pizza from Little Caesars. That was really good. That was very good.
Yeah, I agree with you. I like Little Caesars in general. I like this better than the hot and ready. And maybe that's why a hot and ready is a hot and ready, and this is something that was maybe more prepared by order.
Of course. What's interesting, too, about the owners of Little Caesars, I think, is the Illich family from Detroit. Is that correct? Yeah.
Yep.
And so they own the Tigers. They own the Red Wings, maybe?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
I know they used to. I think they still do. Yeah. Yep.
Very prominent family in Detroit. And, of course, I can imagine, while they've had a lot of success on the field with the sports teams, but probably a lot more, or I shouldn't say a lot more, an equal amount of success with the pizza franchises as well. And There is an excellent audio documentary that was done, I believe it was last year or possibly the year before, that really went into the history of all these different places.
Yeah.
And they really highlighted that the $5, well, I'm sure it wasn't $5 at the time, but
it was, the $5 hot and ready.
Oh, okay, it's always okay.
Yep.
But just the hot and ready, be able to go have that and make that, because you think as a business owner, there's a lot of demand coming in, but if you only have to go focus on making that one product, or maybe a lot more of the orders skewed towards that one product, that's a lot more pre-planned that you can kind of get out of your way.
Sure.
And you're known for that too.
Yeah. So what I remember most about Little Caesars when I was a kid, it was pizza. Do you remember that as the logo? And it was because it was, I don't know if I was maybe too young to remember, but buy one, get one free or something. It had to do with like you got 2 pizzas for the price of one kind of thing. So that was kind of their claim to fame. To your point, Ilitch family continues to own Little Caesars. Something else that I learned that I did not know is that, yes, you're correct. Ilitch family owns the Detroit Tigers. Do you know who they bought them from?
No idea.
They bought them from none other than Tom Monahan, who is the owner or was the owner and founder of Domino's Pizza.
Oh, my good.
Yeah.
My mind is blown right now.
So he bought Domino's Pizza. He bought the Detroit Tigers. I want to say in around 82, around that time.
Yeah.
Maybe 1983, because the next year they was the Roar in 84. I don't know if you've ever heard that term before, but that was the year that the Detroit Tigers won the World Series. Okay. So he immediately bought the team, wins a World Series, loves baseball, continues to own it for another maybe 10 years or so, and then sells it to none other than the Ilitch family. So I thought that was interesting because huge competitors, right? The first 2 companies that we talked about, like we said, headquartered in Michigan, big companies with restaurants all across the United States. When we get into these 2, Little Caesars and Domino's, we're talking about huge international companies.
International,
right?
absolutely. You know, something else really cool, I remember from, this is from the 1984 World Series, of course, when the Tigers won. When they won at home, there were so many people outside the stadium that, of course, if you're going to go try and get any food delivered to the stadium, would have been impossible. So they actually airlifted via helicopter pizza into the stadium.
Wow.
Post-winning. Imagine that for a second.
That's cool. Yeah.
No Uber Eats back then.
Yeah, right. So, yeah, Little Caesars operates in over 28 countries. That was something else I learned that I thought was really interesting. And really, Mike Ilitch took the Detroit Red Wings from a really subpar, pretty poor NHL franchise into a dynasty, right? I mean, they won, I want to say, at least 3, maybe 4 Stanley Cups under their ownership, in the 90s and early 2000s. So,
dominant.
And I was a huge fan back at that time. You notice I haven't mentioned who I worked for yet. So just through the process of elimination, you can probably figure out at this point that I worked at Domino's Pizza when I was in college. And I lived in Colorado. The reason that I mention that, because if you remember the Red Wings in the 90s, the late 90s in particular, them and the Avalanche.
Oh, Avalanche, sorry.
Them and the Avalanche absolutely hated one another, despised one another. I was living in Colorado, and I am proud to say that I would go out with my friends wearing Red Wings gear. I'd be the only one out of like 100 people wearing Red Wings gear. People would be literally throwing things at me.
So, did you see live when Darren McCarty had his hat trick against the Rockies in game 2 or 3?
I don't recall. I don't recall that. The thing, I think the thing we probably all most recall was the Mike Vernon and Patrick Waugh fight.
Oh, sure.
When the goalies came out, met at mid-ice, and I think most everyone agrees that the Detroit Red Wings, Mike Vernon, won that fight.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
I think the other thing you remember is going back to Claude Lemieux and, who was the player that you just mentioned?
McCarty.
Yeah, Darren McCarty. They despised one another, right? Claude Lemieux took out Chris Draper at some point, really injured him. So he took on Claude Lemieux and took him out. I think maybe even injured him for a little while. Yeah.
Okay. Now, I will say, I was 3 when this whole series went along. And so,
thanks.
While hey, I just mentioned, while recalling some of these details, I saw this all via YouTube.
Okay.
And YouTube, ESPN, one of the 2 back in the day. But still, I mean, just from the TV and not being live, still a lot of really cool experiences to go kind of witness that and seeing history being made in the moment.
Yep. Yeah, it was pretty awesome. So I really like. No, I didn't try the crust of this Little Caesars. Did you try the crust?
I tried
yet?
the crust.
Did you? What'd you think?
We're doing official opinions.
Well, not yet.
Okay. Okay.
Just yay or nay. What do you think?
I think it's okay.
Okay. I like it. I'm so easy to please.
Now, traditionally,
just throw a pizza in front of me.
Traditionally, what I will say is, when we order pizza inside my house, it's typically round pizza, not square pizza.
Okay.
So I don't get square pizza all the time.
Okay.
Getting some booze from our executive producers, Offset. So
okay, so they're at a little bit of a disadvantage right off the bat.
a little bit of a disadvantage, unfortunately. But you know what? We want unbiased, unparalleled opinions between us two, and so it's good that you like square and I.
Yeah, I'm on the opposite side of the fence. I like the square. Yeah. Another thing I want to go back to, you mentioned Dave Portnoy. So everywhere I go, particularly when I'm with the boys, that's called One Bite Pizza Reviews.
Oh, yeah.
Is what he does. Everywhere we go, we seek the best pizza. This weekend, sorry, I'm trying to finish my pizza here.
That's fine.
We're heading to Chicago.
Okay.
And I have a reservation tomorrow night at Lou Malnati's in downtown Chicago.
I've had pizza there before.
Have you?
It's very good.
Yeah.
Very, very good.
So Chicago style, kind of similar to Detroit style, and then it's a thick crust, right? It's really a meal. I know that Dave Portnoy doesn't really like Chicago style or Detroit style. I guess it's okay.
He's an East Coast guy.
He really likes those thin crust. And he only eats cheese pizza. At least he does
In the reviews?
when he's doing those
Hey,
reviews.
it's unbiased.
And he calls it One Bite Pizza, but he takes like 5
2 or
or
3
6 bites.
bites.
So he did, interestingly enough, too, go to U of M in Ann Arbor, which is where our next pizza company is from. What a segue.
Yeah, this segue.
Right.
Do you know what he went to school for?
I
It's
don't.
not what you think.
I don't.
If I remember
Inform
this
me.
right, he went for education.
Okay.
If I remember that right.
Yeah.
Correctly.
All right, here we go. So traditional pie style. I keep
Pie
calling
style.
it a pie. Pizza pie,
Hey,
right? I call them
one
pies.
or the other.
Yep.
It's all good.
So go ahead. You go first.
Oh, okay. Well, this one is calling my name over here,
All right.
so I will go ahead and get this one. Okay. How about yourself?
There we
I'm
go.
calling your name? Okay.
Yep.
Let's dive in.
So again, I might have, a little bit of leaning in this direction. Worked here in college, like I said. So quite a bit different. It's almost unfair to judge a square pizza versus a round pizza because they're so different.
I think what we can go do when we talk about our reviews, we'll have to say, okay, round pizza, square pizza, better, our opinions, and then from an overall perspective.
Sure.
Too.
Yep.
Maybe create almost like a pizza ranking,
Yeah.
a TriStar pizza ranking.
And I gotta eat the crust because I've done it with all the others. So. So again, I like them all. I'm easy to please. Honestly, I try to not eat too much pizza because it tends to stick to me. But yeah, they're all good.
Now, about Domino specifically, have you ever driven by their campus down in Ann Arbor?
I have, and I tell you, I've always had questions in my mind about like why it's such an odd looking building. There's that statue.
You
out
can
in
see from
front
the
of
highway
building.
too.
Yeah,
I believe.
And I've driven by it. I don't know, 100 times, right? Because we're always driving in that direction with the kids and whatnot. So, in your research, tell me what you learned about it. I don't want to steal your thunder.
So what I think is really cool is that Domino's Pizza, now I'm just correlating this to stock prices because, of course, me being the investment guy here. Now, Domino's really went through, they've always been a good company, but they really went through a renaissance because they're one of the first companies to really go through mobile ordering.
Oh, yeah.
But not specifically that, but taking a look further into web ordering.
Sure.
Really showing the progress of your pizza. Because that really had a lot of people, because you could say, all right, your pizza's going to be here in 15 or 20 minutes, but for them, your pizza's being made.
Right.
It's going into the oven.
Yep.
And now it's out for delivery. I think for a lot of people, that's what gave people a lot of solace because, hey, this is my progress. This is what's going to tell me when it's all done. And there's one thing when we're hungry, I get hangry.
Yeah.
I hope you can show me.
Yeah. Once you're hungry, it's like too late.
Yeah, it's like,
right?
Okay, I need food now.
Yeah. It's like chasing returns, right? You're like, I want it now, right? To put it into your investment speak. Yeah. Yeah.
Nail
No,
on the
so
head.
I learned quite a few interesting things about Tom Manahan, and about that building in particular that I was really interested in. First thing I learned is that building is a half a mile long. Okay, so it is a huge structure. I had no idea it was quite that big. The other thing, if you've driven by there, right, it stays pretty low to the ground. So it's built like a Frank Lloyd Wright, which goes back to the fact that, so Tom Monahan was really interested in architecture. So he went to University of Michigan to study architecture and ended up falling into the pizza business. He and his brother bought a pizza shop for, I think it was like $500, and got a loan for another $900 to build that business. But loved Frank Lloyd Wright, so built that as sort of an homage to him. And then I don't know if you remember seeing, there's sort of that strange sculpture in the in the green area in front of there. And so that is an homage to the Leaning Tower of Pisa, except for they call it the Leaning Tower of Pizza.
I can only imagine why.
Yep, yeah. So pretty cool. He sold that business for $1 billion to Bain Capital. And has gotten really philanthropic. He started, I don't know if you know this or not, Ave Maria Funds, the mutual funds.
Oh, the mutual fund series.
So
I had no idea.
He started Ave Maria Mutual Funds. He also owns Ave Maria, or started Ave Maria Law School.
Down in Florida, right?
He's done a lot, yeah.
I think something else cool that I saw online, now correct me if I'm wrong with which of the pizza companies, but I believe they make even the corporate work. So they have a store inside the actual campus itself.
Sure.
And even corporate employees will have to go work some shifts there to really get the full experience of like, hey, this is us. We obviously understand everything going on behind the scenes.
Sure.
So this is front of the scenes, forefront with customers.
Right.
Be able to go see the whole process A to Z.
I think that's great, right? Like I said, I worked at Domino's, and I think it's important that everybody should work in the service industry, particularly for me, the food service industry. Whether that's serving, I've worked fast food at McDonald's, at KFC, right? And those jobs, we take it for granted, right? When you're in the drive-through, it's tough. They move fast. It moves really quick. It's hot.
They're stressful. And the people are
hungry. Not always so kind. Yeah. Like you said, people are hangry. They want to eat yesterday. So yeah, I think that's
gives people a lot
terrific.
Of respect, appreciation.
Yeah.
And I find it so fortunate that Michigan is home to so much.
Oh, yeah.
So much pizza.
Now, do you know what each of these companies has in common, particularly as it relates to the box?
Well, they must buy a lot of cheese.
So Tom Monahan invented the corrugated pizza box.
Oh, okay.
And he did so for a couple of different reasons. It makes a lot of sense. Part one, with respect to delivery, you can stack these boxes really easily, right? And put them into those
the pizza carriers.
Insulated carriers, yeah. And so that was one thing he wanted to keep the pizza warm. So these boxes in particular are built in a way and with like a thickness that can keep the pizza warm, so that even the pizza that our executive producer picked up at 10 a.m. was still warm at whatever time it is now.
Yeah, thinking about that, that's a good 40-minute wait. Still perfectly warm.
Yeah.
Each of the pizzas are very warm.
Yeah.
So I think the people have been waiting.
Yep. Yeah, absolutely.
So let's go with what you think. Kevin, what do you think the best square pizza?
Best square, I'm going to go, man, here's what I'm going to say. They were both really good. There's not much of a difference between the two. I'm partial to Jets, so I'm going to go with Jets Pizza.
I'm going to have to go pick Jets as well. Okay. I think both are very good. However, you got me with the crust. Okay. I remember the crust. I'm like, okay, this is good. Little Caesars, still good. But for me, Little Caesars is more round pizza than square. But for this particular case, my nod will unfortunately, sorry for Little Caesars and the pizza guy, but we'll go to, the nod will go to Jets.
Yeah, to your point, and to be fair, I didn't even know Little Caesars made a four-corner pizza.
I had no idea.
Right? So I went into this really knowing that I like Jets four-corner pizza, not even knowing Little Caesars made it. So if I took a little more time, I could probably change my opinion. They're both great. I'm just partial to Jets. So.
Okay. Yep. Now, what do you think about the circulars?
Yeah, so, I mean, do you even have to ask?
Well, if the mid-money, so the audio listeners couldn't see, but if there was one slice that I completely finished and devoured on my plate, It's my vote's for Domino's. My vote's for that.
And I told you before I started that I was going to have a little bit of a leaning towards one of these companies because I used to work there. It was only maybe a year and a half time, but I'm going to pick
some good
Domino's
memories
as well. They're both really good. I have to say, I don't know, in all fairness, I may have actually liked Hungry Howie's, the flavors better.
What I will say is
but
that
I'm just...
Yeah,
right. There's just too much nostalgia.
It's tough. It's really tough because Hungry Howie's I think was a really good pie, but the flavor of the crusts was really impactful.
Yeah.
It was good, but Domino's is still good. But the nod for me will still have to go to Domino's overall, and it sounds like for you now. Then, want to guess out there and listeners, this is a completely curveball question to go ask Kevin. So he did not prepare for this.
Okay.
So who do you think has the best out of these four places? The best side.
The best side?
Now, side could be Parmesan bread for Domino's, or it could be crazy bread for Little Caesars.
Man, okay, so I have one favorite side, and unfortunately, it's not from any of these. So I'm not even really that familiar with their sides.
Okay.
Of course, Little Caesars breadsticks, iconic, right? So from these four, I'll go with that. However, I'm just going to throw a shout out to Papa John's, right? Their little cinnamon pulls are insane. They're so good.
Okay, I can tell. I can tell from your voice.
Good.
Yeah. For me, it's Domino's. It's Parmesan bites, hands down. No one comes close.
Yeah.
I get the 32 count, whether I should or I shouldn't, and just devour those things.
Good for you.
So good, so good. Now, do you dip pizza?
I don't.
Ranch?
No, I know ranch is like a big thing. I don't. Yeah, that's just for me. No, not a thing. How about you?
Love ranch.
Okay.
I love it. Eating pizza barren like this is a little more uncharacteristic for me, but for mid-money, we had to do the hard work today.
Yeah.
So
well, you got to keep it real, right? You got to give everybody a fair chance.
Mm-hmm.
So to back that up, I don't know if we even mentioned the pizzas we got were all the same, that they were all cheese with pepperoni.
And pepperoni,
right?
absolutely.
So we wanted to keep it fair across the board so that, one may have had olives and you hated olives, so you chose against that one. Nope, they were all the same.
What's your preferred, before we go out to the closing, what's your preferred pizza toppings?
So this is going to shock some
What does
people.
the Score Zone family get?
Yeah,
anchovies?
This might be a shocker. I really like the Hawaiian pizza. The ham and pineapple.
Okay. Yeah.
I know that's like, that's a
out
pretty
there,
crazy
man.
statement.
Oh, yeah.
But,
That's out there.
How about yourself?
So I love any meat kind of pizza.
Okay.
However, for the family, what Pizza Sam does with the pizza, extremely good. Now, if it's with the family, what we'll do is we'll probably do pepperoni, pepperoncinis, or banana peppers.
I love pepperoncinis. Yeah, I will get anchovies on pizza. So maybe to close it out.
Oh my goodness!
Are you? Okay. So I think I got my response.
No.
Pro anchovy, anti anchovy.
Anti.
Okay. What about for our listening audience? Pro, anti, anti.
Some
anti.
jeers. Okay, some jeers out in the audience.
I'm all alone in this one.
On an island right now.
Yeah, I'll be honest. I don't like order it frequently, but it doesn't turn me off, right? And I particularly like anchovies on a Caesar salad. So,
hey, at least there's some, there's some good leeway, some good, middle ground at least for the salads versus on a pizza.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, with that being said, thank you everyone for listening to another great episode of Mint Money, where we talk about all things personal finance and pizza in the state of Michigan. Thanks everyone.